What's happening, sports fans? We continue our march around San Diego County talking to athletes who are, at this point, getting a little bit stir-crazy, I'm assuming. We've got Ivran Romero from Poway Baseball. His name should sound very familiar because I felt like every other day last season we were talking about him striking everybody out as one of our chair-throwing King of Ks. Ivran, thank you so much for being on with us, man. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you for having me.
So Ivran is here because he's a great baseball player and a CIF finalist and all sorts of great things. But other thing he's got going on is he is committed to play baseball at the University of San Diego. Go Toreros next season. Thank you so much for staying local. Talk about that decision.
I mean, after the championship last year, they really started talking to me more after a good outing personally. They really liked the way I threw, and then, I don't know, they just kind of invited me to visit the campus, and it was just, I mean, you can't really say no to it. It's a really good D1 program, beautiful city, beautiful school, so.
I mean, it's on the extreme short list of most beautiful baseball parks in all of America to play at, and it gets to now be just where you have practice and whatnot. What was the actual moment that you either, what you actually made you want to decide definitively this is where I want to go for my 4 years? What was maybe the deciding factor? Talk about your decision.
I mean, personally, just the deciding factor was just playing D1 baseball. I mean, you grow up dreaming and grinding for that, and then the moment I got that offer, it was just something.
So where walk us through getting that offer? Where were you?
Okay, so after the championship game, literally the next day, I got a text from the coach. I had already gotten some texts before, but like this one was more of a direct, like, hey, we want you to come visit. And then I went and visited, got a tour, the locker room, the field. It was just, and then I don't know, when we were just standing when we were up in the stands, it was just I was just looking over the field and I was like, okay, like this is where I want to pitch, So then, and then I don't know, it's just that moment you realize that, wow, okay, I'm going to be like, for me, I'm going to be a Torero,
So they give you the offer. Is it straight to calling mom and dad? Did you just scream? What were the how did you go about expressing those emotions in that few minutes afterwards?
Honestly, I was stunned. Like, we were sitting down, and then it was me and my mom, and he just, like, said, okay, so this is what we have for you. And I just sat there. I was like, wow, okay. I looked over at my mom, and she has this exact same expression on her face. And then he's like, you have 1 week to decide or whatever. So then I went in. It didn't really take that long to decide. I knew I wanted to go there. So
you basically just he told you got 1 week to decide, and you just ripped off your Poway shirt. You're like, you already have a Torero shirt underneath it. You're like, a baby blue, yes, all 110%.
Basically, man.
We've talked to some of your other future teammates already on this show in the last couple of weeks. Angelo Peraza from St. Augustine, Cole Colleran from Canyon Crest Academy. And I keep saying this, and I love to talk to baseball players about this. This is our city's sport. This is by far our best sport. Far and away, the competition is deeper and better at baseball. And it seems like USD is putting something together. SDSU is putting something together. All the local talent is deciding to stay local. How excited are you to team up with other guys that you already know? Hey, I've seen him. He's good. That guy can ball. Let's get together. Let's get on the same page. Let's make something happen.
I mean, just playing them in high school, like when you play a high school team, you pick out like some of the best players, and you're like, wow, those guys are good. And then when you realize that they're going to the same school as you, like you're like, dang, like these guys are going to put a good team together, and it's gonna be a grind to like get a spot there. But it's just crazy that we're all going to be going to the same school and that we're going to be competing together instead of against each other,
One player that I left off that list was Kevin Sim, because I want to specifically ask you, and I'm sorry if this is a sensitive subject or whatnot, but hypothetically, a fall ball game, he's up to bat, you're on the mound. Is one going straight in Kevin Sim's back for the finals or not? No?
No, he's a good friend. No.
But so there's no just like, hey, I remember the last time we were on this field and no me gusta. So no,
no, they definitely bring it up a lot, and like rub it in. I mean, it's just like the pride of winning the championship over us, but it is what it is,
Fair enough. So that proves, folks, that he is a good Christian or a good Catholic going to the right school because tad bit more forgiveful than I would have been on the mound. I want to ask you about that championship game, though, because, I mean, we don't see a ton of the, like, underdog steamrolls through everything Cinderella story in the open division. We tend to see that in the Division 4, 5. You kind of force it into a great story, but you guys as an 8 seed, I mean, really, there were only even a couple of close games between you guys and the championship. Everything was on the road. What was that playoff like? That had to have been one of the more special couple weeks of your baseball life.
I mean, my sophomore year, it was a crazy week, most of all, because 3 games straight against Eastlake. We had to beat them once, and then we lost, and then we had to beat them twice to move on.
You beat Cathedral Catholic on the road twice, then Eastlake 3 games. Take 2 out of 3, so keep going.
But I think the most, like, the ones I remember most are the ones against Eastlake that week because, like, they had Grant Holman on the mound, and I was playing third, and I was just a closer my sophomore year. And then they put me in the first game against Eastlake, my first ever high school start. I started against Grant Holman, and then I think we went into extras, and then I think we went to the 10th inning, 2 games in a row. And then to beat Eastlake and Grant Holman as my, like, first high school start was just definitely something, like, super memorable. And then to come back and lose and then beat them again, I don't know. It was just a crazy story, like long bus rides, obviously.
And then the open division championship game ends up going like 14 innings or whatever it was.
Something like that. That game was endless.
And it just felt like even though you lose it, you didn't really walk away with a bad experience. So, I mean, you get this amazing thing. And like you said, that was just your sophomore year. Junior year, we see you convert into this amazing starting pitcher, all sorts of impressive K numbers, innings pitched, top of the leaderboard in all these categories countywide. So introduce yourself a little bit to the USD fans in terms of what you hope to bring as a pitcher to their pitching staff.
I mean, my purpose always on the mound is to get out, like, no matter what. Like, even if I strike them out, get them to pop up, just do my job. When I have runners on first, I do everything I can to get a ground ball, roll it up. I'm always the one that tries to put the team in front of, like, my own, like, wants. Like, obviously I want to strike everybody out, but I just want to do what's best for the team and essentially for myself.
Well, it's kind of a symbiotic relationship there. Pitchers will not necessarily be successful if they're power pitchers. You get a ton of strikeouts. You don't get the win. You threw a ton of pitches. You don't throw a ton of pitches. You get a bunch of ground balls. Nobody knows your name, but you're like, hey, I got a 1.57 ERA and ain't no one, beating me.
Exactly.
Okay, so in the wide variety, though, of strikeout looking, strikeout swinging, a good double play, what is the best feeling for you on the mound? What do you enjoy the most? What's maybe the favorite pitch or the favorite situation to be in? I
mean, I always like making somebody look goofy, with a nice curveball in the dirt or something. But I guess the best feeling has to be a Bayou fastball. That's something that everybody just like you got their whole dugout screaming, and then they're like, "Oh, this pitcher has nothing," and then you just zoom by them with a fastball, and then you just kind of stare them down, and it's like,
Okay, so you mentioned a couple things in there that I want to get at. You said the Bayou fastball and then the other dugout screaming. Baseball is this colorful world of you have enough downtime and proximity that you have to be creative and good at trash talking. Football, you're out there crashing heads. I guarantee you every offensive and defensive lineman can just get away with swearing at each other and calling each other names. You can't do that from a baseball dugout. So I heard a really good one earlier this year where someone from the Bonita Vista dugout was screaming, "He's your mom's favorite ball player." What are some of the better lines you have ever heard from your dugout or from an opposing dugout?
I guess Bonita Vista too. They also had a good one. It's like they were yelling at our pitcher, "We live in your head rent free." Another good one is like when I'm pitching, my dugout's always yelling, and then when I get a backwards K, they're just like, "How do you like your pizza?" And then everybody screams, "Frozen!"
Yes. I like that one. I'm gonna have to borrow that one for playing MLB The Show when I'm chanting that by myself. Are you doing any of that? Is that what baseball is for you now? Are you playing it via video game? What are you doing with your downtime?
Personally, I'm just staying home, trying to stay safe. Rough times.
I mean, yes, but so what are you doing at home? Are you just standing in a corner holding a baseball? Like, I need this back in my, like, what are you doing with your days? I'm sure you got a little bit of the online school like everyone else, but what's some of the downtime?
For me, I have a net outside. Just get my hacks in, and then throw into the net as well. And then I have like these at-home workouts with an app, and then that's what I'm working out. That's my workouts. I don't have a lot of gear at home, so I just do what I can with my body weight, and then just watching Netflix. And then I actually got lucky. My sister's boyfriend let me borrow a Xbox, so then I'm starting to like, I guess, game with the boys.
All right, so 3 questions off of that. First one isn't so much a question, but just a statement out there to the USD fans. That's the kind of delusional confidence you're getting from this guy. He's a pitcher, and he thinks he's going to continue to get to hit in the college game. That's the kind of guy you're getting on the mound right now. That's what you want. 2, you mentioned Netflix. Watch anything good lately? What are you binging on right now?
I just watched a movie. It's called I think it's Steven. So I don't know, Spencer something with Post Malone in it, and I don't know. It's just a really good movie. I'm not really a binge watcher.
Okay,
I just watch whatever like my sister's watching, and then a lot of movies.
Fair enough. I mean, with I think everybody is learning more about themselves right now than ever before in terms of what they're willing to go out and watch. And I've found myself a couple of times where I'm like, I guess I'll put that on. Where, normally like me, you'd be like, no interest in watching that. Now I'm like, all right, background noise. And then 3 is video games. What are you dipping your toes into?
Fortnite. That's all the boys are on it. And then, I mean, personally, I'm not that good. I just like talking to my friends and finding a way to like stay intact,
Okay, so so you're not the one out here saying I want all the smoke. Let me share my gamer tag and all that. No, this is just
I'm
for
not Xavier, no.
Deal. Okay, so you watched that with Xavier. That I think is just more of a competitive thing from that household. Is what I gathered. Is just he has that like I need my competitive outlet and edge.
Gaming is not my thing. Gaming is not my thing.
Well, fair enough. If it gets to the point where there is no more baseball this season, we will find some baseball video games to send your way so that you can get on the mountain still and find some sort of outlet for it. My man, thank you so much for being on with us. I'm closing out with this question for everybody. I know it's kind of a heavy, little bit not intense question, but if this has been the last time you'll ever suit up for Poway, and if really we don't get a chance to play any more sports, what would you want maybe your final message or what are you going to miss about Poway and your team and your boys?
I mean, I would just like to say thank you to all my coaches for everything they've helped me with, everything they've put me through. If it wasn't for them, I obviously wouldn't be where I am right now. They've helped me get to like the Petco All-Star game, all the good stuff, the Poway Showcase, all that stuff where I got exposure. And then to all my teammates, it's just like, thank you for a fun ride. Like, if it wasn't for you, especially, most of all, we wouldn't have been at like those championships. I wouldn't have got those looks. I wouldn't have had those great memories, And then also like all the families, especially all the team families that like put everything together. We have a bunch of team moms that that donate a lot of their time, and that help with like the snack bars and all that stuff, which help us continue growing as a team with like gear and all that stuff and all that good stuff like for the cages. I don't know. It's been a crazy 4 years, and I'm just super grateful to be a Poway Titan,
Well, and we're hoping that everybody gets a chance to show that gratitude back with at least one senior night. We're fingers crossed there's still going to be playoffs and all that. I know we're all a little bit in the day-to-day unknown of what's going on, but the one thing we do know is that there are great athletes like Ivran here in San Diego that need your positive thoughts and vibes with them during what's left of their senior year. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, and hopefully we'll get a chance to see you back on the mound in action soon. If not, next year when he's wearing baby blue. Ivran, thank you so much for being on with us.
Thank you for having me.